It's late. You did one small thing wrong today. Maybe you sent a text that landed weird, or you forgot a name, or you said something in a meeting that didn't come out right. Nothing happened. Nobody even noticed. But here you are, hours later, lying in the dark, and a voice in your head is replaying it in slow motion. And that voice is not gentle. It says, "What is wrong with you?" It says, "Why are you like this?" It says it in a tone you would never, ever use on another living person. So here's the question I want to sit with you tonight. Why is the one voice that follows you everywhere, the one that's supposed to be on your side, so unbelievably cruel? You know this voice. It's the one that narrates your day in a quiet running commentary of everything you got wrong. It catches you in the mirror and lists the flaws. It hears you laugh too loud at a party and winces. It watches you try something new and whispers, "Who do you think you are?" And the strangest part, the part that should stop us in our tracks, is that we just accept it. We treat this voice like it's telling the truth, like it's the most honest reporter in the building, when really, it might be the most unreliable narrator you've ever met. So before we go one step further, I want to take something heavy off your shoulders, because I think I know the story you've been telling yourself about this. You think the voice is just being realistic. You think, "No, it's not cruel. It's right. I really am that bad. I really do mess everything up. The voice is just saying what everyone's too polite to say." Let me stop you there. That is not honesty. That is not a clear mirror. The harshness you aim at yourself is not the truth about you. It's a habit, a very old, very practiced habit. And habits, unlike facts, can be unlearned. Here's a test that gives the whole game away. Imagine your closest friend came to you tonight with the exact thing you did today. The text that landed weird. The thing they said wrong. Imagine them sitting across from you, ashamed, certain they'd ruined everything. Would you lean in and say, "Yeah, you're right. You're a disaster. What is wrong with you?" Of course not. The thought is almost horrifying. You'd soften. You'd say, "Hey, it's okay. Everyone does that. You're being way too hard on yourself." You have, sitting right inside you, a deep and natural well of kindness. You just never let yourself drink from it. You pour it all out, for everyone else, and keep the cruelty for you. So let me introduce you to the voice. Because it is not random, and it is not really yours. Picture a small, anxious figure who lives somewhere in the back of your mind. Hunched over a control panel, headset on, eyes wide, watching you on 100 little screens. This is your inner critic. And here is the thing nobody tells you. It is terrified. It is not a villain twirling a mustache, plotting your destruction. It's a frightened thing, convinced that the only way to keep you safe is to catch every mistake before the world can. It thinks it's protecting you. It thinks if it's hard enough on you first, then nothing out there can hurt you worse. And it has a backstory, because that voice, the exact words, the exact tone, did not come from nowhere. Listen closely to it sometime. Really listen. That cold, clipped, disappointed tone. Does it sound like you? Or does it sound like someone else? A parent who was never quite satisfied. A teacher who made you feel small. A kid on a playground who found the one thing that stung. Somewhere along the way, you were spoken to like that, in a moment that mattered. And a young part of you made a quiet decision. It thought, if I can learn to say it to myself first, it won't hurt as much when they say it. So it took the voice in. It wore it like armor. And it never took the armor off. So now the voice that was once someone else's lives inside you, wearing your own. And it grew up with you. But here's where it gets worse, because this little protector has a flaw. It never updates. It is still running on the rules it learned when you were 8 years old and powerless. It still thinks you're in that classroom, that house, that playground, where being criticized meant real danger. Back then, the math made a kind of sense. If a grown-up was angry, you were small, and you needed them, and being wrong felt like it could cost you everything. So the part of you that scrambled to fix yourself first was genuinely trying to save you. The tragedy is that it worked. It kept the peace. And because it worked, it never learned to stop. It doesn't know you grew up. It doesn't know you have your own door now, your own money, your own life, that you can handle things, that you are allowed to be wrong without the floor falling away. So it keeps doing the only job it knows, screaming warnings at a danger that passed 20 years ago. And it gets worse still, because the voice learned a lie that feels like the truth. It learned that being hard on you works. Think about it. Every time you achieved something, the critic was there, taking credit. "See, I pushed you and you did it. If I went easy on you, you'd have failed. So it built a story where its cruelty is the engine of everything good you've ever done. And that story is sticky because it's terrifying to test. What if it's right? What if the only thing standing between you and total collapse is this voice screaming at you to be better? So you never turn it off. You just let it run, year after year, certain that the whip is the only reason the horse moves at all. But here's the trap underneath all of it, the darkest part. Living with a voice like this slowly rewires how you see yourself. When you fail at something, the critic doesn't say, "That thing went badly." It says, "You are bad." It turns a single mistake into a verdict on your entire soul. And after enough years of that, you stop being able to tell the difference between making a mistake and being a mistake. The voice becomes the water you swim in. You don't even hear it as a voice anymore. You just think that's the world. You think that's the truth. You think that's you. And a person who believes they're fundamentally broken stops trying gently and starts either punishing themselves into the ground or going numb just to survive. So that's the bottom of it. A frightened part of you, running on 20-year-old fear, convinced its cruelty is keeping you alive, slowly teaching you to believe you're broken. It would be easy to hate that voice now, to call it the enemy and try to kill it. But I don't think that's the truth of it. So here, gently, is the turn. That voice is not your enemy. It never was. It is a scared part of you that has been working a terrible job for a very long time, with no breaks and no thanks, because it loves you in the only clumsy way it knows how. It is a child soldier who never learned the war was over. And you do not heal a frightened child by screaming at it to shut up. That only proves to it that the world is exactly as harsh as it feared. You heal it the way you'd heal anything scared. You turn toward it. You say, "I see you. I know you're trying to protect me. Thank you." And then, softly, you say the thing it's never once heard. "You can rest now. I've got us from here." Because here is what the critic got wrong about that story, the one where its cruelty is the engine. It wasn't the cruelty that carried you. You did all those hard things in spite of the voice, not because of it. Look back honestly. Every time you grew in the moment someone was kind to you, or you were finally kind to yourself. Pressure didn't build you. Pressure just made you flinch faster. The good in your life was never powered by self-hatred. It was powered by the part of you that kept trying anyway, even while being screamed at. Imagine what that part could do if it were finally cheered for instead. And you don't have to fire the critic to do this. That's the mistake most people make. They declare war on the voice, try to silence it, and end up just being cruel about being cruel, one more harsh judge stacked on top of the first. You don't need another judge. You just have to give the critic a new boss. Because you get to choose the voice you live with. Right now the harsh one has the microphone by default, just from years of practice. It's not louder because it's truer. It's louder because you've rehearsed it 10,000 times. But you can, slowly, hand the microphone to a different voice. A kinder one. An inner coach instead of an inner critic. Think about what a good coach actually does. A good coach wants you to win, so they don't scream that you're worthless when you fall, because they know that's exactly what makes you freeze up next time. They say, "Okay, that one got away from you. Here's what we adjust, get up." Not a liar who says everything's perfect. A steady one who says, "That was hard. You're allowed to have found it hard, and you can try again tomorrow." It's the same voice you already use, effortlessly, for everyone you love. You're allowed to point that voice, finally, at yourself. So let's go back to tonight. To you, in the dark, replaying the one small thing you got wrong. The critic is in the back of your mind at its little control panel, headset on, ready to run the verdict one more time. But this time, you don't argue with it, and you don't believe it. This time you just turn toward that frightened part of you, and you say, "Thank you for trying so hard to keep me safe. I know you got scared, but I've got this." You can put the headset down. And maybe, for the first time in a very long time, the voice goes quiet. Not because you beat it, because it finally feels safe enough to rest. Here is the last thing, and it's the thing I most want you to take to bed with you. The fact that you are so hard on yourself is not proof that you're bad. It's proof of the opposite. Only someone who deeply wanted to be good, to be kind, to not hurt anyone, to get it right, would build a guard this fierce. That brutal inner voice is a love that got twisted into fear. Underneath every cruel thing it says is a person who cares so much it aches. So the gentleness you've spent your whole life giving away to everyone else, turn a little of it inward tonight. You've more than earned it. If this sounded like the voice in your own head, then you are not broken and you are not alone. So many of us are lying awake right now, being far too hard on someone who's just trying their best. That someone is you. We make these for nights like this. So stay a while. Be a little gentler with yourself. The lights are on.